Merced was actually flyering the units today, talking about the renter stuff going on. They flyered the whole complex this morning again with their propaganda done by Bert Palacci's Government Relations for Stellar Management. So the issue here is it's a landscape. It's a National Register site, National Landscape Register site. 6 national organizations have submitted a letter jointly saying what they're proposing is not acceptable. They should be forced to replan this. They should be forced to look at sustainable infill. The infill alternative was rejected because the planning commissioners, the planning department, and the developer are in bed with SFSU, the California State University on this. They've been sleeping together since back in 2000 when they started selling the site. The SFSU Foundation University Corporation.
Who is that? What are they doing?
The University Corporation bought Stonestown Apartments and portions of Park Merced. It's a dual development plan that affects the low middle income rental housing on the western side of San Francisco. They've lost over 1,000 units of rental housing out there. Sean Ellsburn has not done anything to promote new rental housing being built at affordable prices for working people of that district, of the city. And without transit being addressed seriously, the linkage north to south along 19th Avenue, Sunset Boulevard, Junipero Serra Boulevard, and the 1952 interchange at Brotherhood Way, there's the one intersection heading southbound, is Junipero Serra and 19th Avenue. That intersection is the pinch point. They got to look at grade separation. Even the SFPUC said grade separation was the best solution. Although it's more costly, it is the best solution for transit, for pedestrian safety. How can you route a transit line through the heart of a landscape development and open space there? Nobody's talking about the open space laws to the tenants. The tenants, the only thing they're counting and qualifying is the internal square footage of the units. They're not looking at the loss of the gradation of open space. Every person who's sitting here that has a garden unit is losing their front yard and their backyard. There's no calculation about that. How much square footage? It's a social shared housing space in there, and they're going to lose it because it's not being discussed. In the development agreement, it's a washer, dryer, and a dishwasher being exchanged for your open space. Is that fair?
Who's behind this?
Stellar Management and Fortress. It was Stellar Management and Fortress Investments now is waiting to bankroll the whole thing because they're waiting for the entitlements to get approved, and that approval entitlement thing, they have a clause to step back on, I think, the end of this week, on Friday, on the 11th. So they can actually back out of the agreement if it's not entitled today. That's the kind of joke that's going on. But Stellar and Fortress Investments and there was one other developer. I'm not going to remember the name of them right now. My mind's slipping on this, but there's enough stuff there in terms of how many developers. It's predatory equity lending, the same type of thing that happened on the East Coast with Stellar, Peter Cooper, Toysmantown, New York City. Park Fairfax is on the National Register already. This one is just as eligible as any other site out there.
Yeah. We shall not be moved. Are we going to be moved? No. We shall not be moved.
What's your name?
My name is Laura Traveler.
And you're a resident of Park Merced?
Yes, I've been in Park Merced for over 26 years. We are really fighting these developers who want to tear down over 2,000 townhomes and put up 13-story buildings. We're calling it the Manhattanization of Park Merced. And here we have this beautiful community with lawns, trees, and a historical development. And we're a most diverse community, seniors, families, all races, Russians, African Americans, Asians, all races are there. So it's a most wonderful community.
And who's behind trying to destroy this community?
Stellar Management and these developers that are hired by them. And they have one of their big people in New York, Rosanna, and so it's Stellar Management.
And is San Francisco State University supporting this?
Obviously they must be, because San Francisco State has 5 blocks that they bought from these people. And then of course they use the towers, present towers, there are 11 of them, to house their students. And then these developers charge, I don't care whether it's a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, or a 3-bedroom, they charge $900 for each student that they put in there. And they have anywhere between 4 to 6.
So that's a lot of money.
Yes, it is. They are after money.
So that's what it's about.
That's what it's about, money.
And they're going to kick working people out of their homes.
That's what they want to do. Working people, seniors, retired. I'm retired, 37 years in education.
Were you a union member?
CTA, yes, yes.
So there are many union retired members who live there and are going to be thrown out of their homes.
Yes, that's right. So it's very, very serious. And it's something that we're trying to bring yeah, we got to get inside.
Hi, I'm Jesse. I go to San Francisco State, and I heard about the developments at Park Merced today and decided to come down to this hearing. I'm most concerned with the destruction of rent control units that is involved in this plan.
Why is San Francisco State management and executives, the trustees, involved in this?
It seems to be how things work there. There's a culture in the administration that exists, and
What is that culture?
I would say it's a culture of top-down decision-making and capitalist logic.
What is that? What does that mean, capitalist logic?
The logic that as long as you're serving the bottom line, you're doing a good job. And these developments are, they serve the bottom line quite nicely in the short term. And
well, they say they have to make. They say they have.
You don't use this interview, but
they say that.
But you feel free to.
Well, I mean, they say that they need to become more, get more income revenue stream, and maybe this will help their revenue stream, their bottom line. Is that?
Well, it will help their bottom line because the apartments that they're going to build in this area. It's not going to be affordable student housing. It's going to be more apartments like the village that they built. The Centennial Village, I believe it's called, which was the first development by the new corporation that they set up.
What is that corporation?
I believe it's the SFSU Corporation, and that I'm not sure exactly how the structure works, but I recommend looking up SFSU Corporation, SFSU Foundation, because that's how they managed to develop the campus as intensely as they have been, and they're spreading to Park Merced.
And what is the effect on students? I know that they've been raising the fees and all the other.
They have been raising fees to pay for buildings that we don't have yet. And if you want to use there's a rec center that is being built once they finally finish the library retrofit, which could take years. And we're paying $35 to $80. The fee is substantial for that, considering that the building is not there, we can't use it, and if we want to use the current recreation center that we have, the gym, if we want to get a locker there, it's another $15 we have to pay, so it doesn't even cover what we already have access to. And I was talking about the SFSU Corporation and how they oh yes, they're also raising the cost of housing by making these developments, because all these, they aren't putting in dorms, they're putting in apartments, and the Merced plan seems to be a bunch of mini condos. It's already one of the most expensive places to live in San Francisco, and they're saying it's blighted.
That's right. Rumors develop because the rumors are that Fortress, an international holding hedge fund, controls this property. And if you do research, Google research on the Fortress International Hedge Fund, they're having their own financial problems and board problems. And this is how rumors come about.
Who is saying that there's a cover-up going on financially as to this whole investment?
We don't know. We don't know who owns it. Massive undertaking, billions. This is going to involve San Francisco and California taxpayers if there is a bailout issue and they can't come up with the money to complete the project. Can you see a big hole in the ground like the Fillmore area for 20 years? So San Francisco and California taxpayers are really going to be involved, and it should be a referendum, a citywide vote for this project because of the financial ramifications. We don't know who's paying for this. And for Muni to get involved, the city is going to be paying for Muni. There are so many discrepancies here, and the biggest discrepancy, go on Park Merced's official marketing site. We are living in a stunning, magnificent, beautiful, manicured community. You go on their other site, which is trying to sell this vision of a new, sustainable, modern 21st century community. We're living in a blighted, aging community that needs to be ripped down because it's falling apart.
My name is Margaret Leahy, and I live at Park Merced on Arbalo Drive.
And how long have you lived at Park Merced?
6 years, ever since I left my home, and now I have a new home with fantastic neighbors, a beautiful place to walk, the diversity that I'm used to. I love it.
And what's threatened?
The whole thing I talked about is that we've got money interest bankers that own part of the loan for the Stellar Management Corporation. They want to tear down all of the garden apartments where we have the ability to walk out and see green grass, have backyards, watch our kids so that they're safe, walk our dogs. They want to take all that down and build high-rises. All it is working together hand in hand with San Francisco State, where I work, I admit, who wants to expand, who wants to go high-rise so that they can get more students from out of town, out of the area, out of the country, and have them housed. Park Merced wants to house people in high-rises. Who can afford to pay the rent in high-rises?
So, San Francisco State University, the trustees apparently want the students to pay more fees. They've laid off a lot of, but they do have money for other things?
Oh, well, let's put it this way. The master plan, I've looked at it for San Francisco State. They've already bought part of what was Park Merced. They want it over a period of time to tear down those units and build high-rises. Where they're going to get the money, I don't know. I know I'm teaching 80 students this term in one class. I clear $890 a month. They're not paying the faculty.
But they have money to buy these apartments and this development.
Sure seems like it, doesn't it? Them that has the money sometimes figure out how to deal with it. I've never thought that the trustees had the interest of the students at heart.
Okay, thank you. So what should people do about Sean Ellsburn and these supervisors and the Planning Commission?
Well, let's put it this way. If Ellsberg wasn't turned out, he'd be out because we are damn mad at him for going along with the Park Merced developers. And I understand that one of his staff is now working for Park Merced. The Planning Commission, it's 4-3 right now. The four who were appointed by former Mayor Newsom are voting for Park Merced. Those appointed by the supervisors, I gather, are voting with us. But we're going to take it to the supervisors. If the Planning Commission votes to allow this destruction of a beautiful community, we will take it to the Board of Supervisors. And just like when they said, who was Spartacus? And everyone started saying, I'm Spartacus. We're going to be saying, who's Park Merced? I'm Park Merced, and he's Park Merced, and she's Park Merced. It's not just corporations.
My name is Kathy Lenz. I'm a part of the Park Merced Action Coalition. A true vision of the future would be inclusive of the people who live here now, taking them and their children into the future, not exposing them and the students of San Francisco State to 30 years of cancer-causing toxins and an uncertain future. Please see Park Merced Project EIR Errata pages 7 to 10, Impact AQ12, AQ13, AQ15, AQ19, and AQ20. All of these say these cancer-causing toxins are significant and unavoidable. The EIR should not be certified until these concerns are addressed and resolved. You have no right to expose part of the San Francisco for 30 years of cancer-causing agents. Thank you.
Commissioners, I'm Kehlani Toon with the Park Merced Action Coalition, and I'm here to ask you to please not certify the ERIR, and please do not certify the development agreement, and please do not certify the rezoning. I feel that this is completely wrong and not proper to do that to us. We don't want to feel like we like the Planning Commission is going to do the same thing they did in the Fillmore District when they ramrodded everybody out of there. My family was put out of there. This will be the third time that I'm redeveloped.
So now, if you could limit your comments to the environmental impact.
The environmental impact, yes, that's part of it.
Okay.
That the change, absolutely.
This project would best be described as greenwashing. Greenwashing is an industry term used by architects, designers, and city planners to describe projects such as the Park Merced Vision Plan, which use the term green as a smokescreen to hide the underlying greed and predatory nature of projects such as the demolition and redevelopment of Park Merced. Terms such as more usable open space are used to hide the inherent destructive nature and non-conservationist, non-preservationist, and non-environmental underpinnings of this so-called Park Merced Vision Plan. Please vote no. Thank you very much.
Larger bailout required. I think it's really bad for San Francisco that we're getting rid of rent-controlled units. That's critical for affordability in San Francisco. This is a place where I wouldn't want to live, but folks do live there and they find a community there. I think we need to respect that and acknowledge that we're not going to be seeing the kind of investment in transit with this project that's going to mitigate any of the impacts. In fact, this project is located within 3 minutes of Interstate 280. So that's going to mean that if we're talking about being sold as transit-oriented development, it's going to be freeway-oriented development. There's going to be even more cars, more auto trips, more greenhouse gases that goes against all of the city's stated goals for environmental protection. But that's the way it is in San Francisco. Development is being coddled, the costs are being shifted onto the backs of San Franciscans and taxpayers, yet developers are running away with ruining our city and using it as a get-rich-quick scheme. I urge you all to reject the environmental impact report and reject this project and come back at us with a staged plan for this that puts the residents in San Francisco first before bailing out speculative investors.
Because this development involves human beings, people who have lived in Park Merced, some for over 30 or like myself for 26 years, these developers seem to feel as if that they can simply say anything and have people write anything about it. The EIR is not addressing the needs of the human beings in Park Merced. This development, besides being a historical development, as you know so well, houses people of all different cultures, all different ages, living in a beautiful community, one that does not need to be torn down. The EIR is not addressing, and I have to say it again and again, the idea that human beings are living in Park Merced. And they want to continue to live in this beautiful development just as it is.
Go Tenants!